Here is a Fedders AirTemp casement air conditioner. As of right now, I'm unsure of the BTU rating, but I'm gonna guess it's anywhere between 1200 and 800. Because it is kind of hard to see. I'll turn on the torch and try to see some of the information. 7.5K, 0.75 amps, 880 watts. Looks like it says R22. It's either R22 or R32. It has a vent which is open. Free speed, mechanical thermostat. I'm gonna guess this model is from 2000. It just seems like it's from 2000. Something that's a bit interesting about this one is I was expecting this to have the same setup as the unit that Jordan, you recently got, the AirTemp, where the compressor is mounted above everything, and then the fan motor is mounted at the bottom. But both the compressor and the fan motor are at the bottom. It's a Rotor-X compressor, made in USA. I don't know why people don't like these Rotor-X compressors. They do seem to be somewhat inefficient. They're not very smooth, and they run really hot. So I guess those are all good reasons to dislike them, but they work very good, and I will say they work a lot better than some of the other rotary compressors I've dealt with. It has a Fasco fan motor in it. There's the blade set. Coils look pretty clean. Here's the back grill. It has a AirTemp logo at the bottom. It's hard to see. The AirTemp logo on this one's a bit different than any other AirTemp unit I've seen. Well, there's another unit I've seen that had that logo, but all of the AirTemp units I've seen, with the exception of the one other one, they normally have this logo in white text with a blue background. This one has the normal white text on a blue background, but it's all capital letters, and it's not like this logo. The one other unit I saw that had the same back logo sticker as this one was, I think it was a 14,000 BTU Fedders. It was a slide-out chassis unit. It had the free rows of vents on the back, but the front grill was a bit interesting. It looked like a Emerson Quiet Cool grill, like one of the Emerson Quiet Cools from the late 80s. It looked like that kind of, but it had a sliding control door. It was all white, so very strange unit. I also remembered that one having a, it had a pilot light on the control panel that would come on if the thermostat was satisfied. So kind of strange. That unit is long gone, but I'd like to find one like that. That thing's just very peculiar. But you have this thing. This is 6-way air direction. There's a broken vent slat, but it looks like it's just fallen in here. I don't know about the one that was here. This wasn't a smoker's house, so I can't imagine it being super dirty. And the vent looks like it just flips up like this. Okay, we'll fire it up on low fan. It's really quiet. This was used in a kitchen, so it's probably covered with cooking grease. The air output vent on this seems a bit small. It just seems really small for the size of unit that this is. Would have expected this to be a bit more efficient and everything else, but drawing 48 watts, 0.39 amps, so it's probably a PSC motor. medium. There is a notable difference in air movement and noise. We're drawing 62.2 watts and half an amp. What was the amp draw on low? There's not much of a difference in the amp draw on low. And then we'll go to the high setting. It's almost 3/4 of a watt. So fan motor on this is really efficient. I have a feeling if this would have had a shaded pole motor, this thing would be an energy hog, pretty much like my GE thin line. That thing draws 12 amps when it's running, which is outrageous. And so it's watts. No, I want watts. And it draws right out on the nose, 91 watts. Something I will mention is the speeds are labeled low, normal, and super. Very similar to a Duracraft window fan. The Duracraft window fans I had growing up, at least a single blade one, that had the same labeling as low, normal, and super. And if low was labeled as quiet, then that would be identical to a Emerson Quiet Cool air conditioner. So I wouldn't be surprised if Fedders sold this under the EQK name after they got the rights to that brand in the mid-90s. See if we can install that. We'll get a compressor start up. This is the first time it started in 2 years. I left my temperature sensor at a friend's house, so I can't measure the temperature. Already feels cold. Should be pretty easy for it to get cold in here since it's not very humid. Doesn't feel cold on this side, but it feels kind of coldness kind of went away. See how the coil's looking. Can't get this front grill off. The filter looks intact. I don't know if that's the original filter. The grill is kind of dirty. It's never been cleaned, I don't think. I'm gonna take it, this is the original front grill. Going to expect the coil layer on this is quite thick. I don't know if there's any screws in here or not. I'd pull the front grill right off to see. I'm gonna guess this is a fixed chassis unit, which it is. This is one of the quietest running Rotor X compressors I've ever heard. Sounds a lot quieter than my 12K Fedders, which I have to get that one out soon. I want to make a video of that. If the efficiency on that unit's good enough, I might install that in here. This thing runs really nice. It's starting to get cold. I just don't have any way to measure the temperature right now. I might have to do an update on this at some point when I get the proper equipment. And this thing is pretty big. This unit is quite large. This is actually the closest I've ever gotten to a casement unit before. I've seen plenty of these installed throughout my childhood. Recent years I've not seen as many. A lot of them's gotten replaced with the exception of this one house that has a casement unit installed in a normal double hung window. Got heat coming off? Yeah, we do. The fan on this is really quiet though on the low speed. Has that nice rotary compressor sound that these units, a lot of these 90s and 2000s air conditioners have. It doesn't really sound like a Rotor X, because a lot of the Rotor X compressors I've heard are very loud. This one's very quiet. It sounds very smooth. I am going to guess that this is a low hours unit. And if this thing's never been cleaned before, the back coil looks good. Front coil looks good. For as long as I could remember, this unit was in service. It wouldn't get installed every single year. It'd get installed every couple years, depending on how bad the weather was. Last summer, it wasn't that hot, so I don't believe this unit was installed. At least it wasn't installed till like late July, when we had a nasty heat wave roll through. And this unit was just kind of installed to boost the main unit, which was a LG, 8000 BTU LG window unit, which actually, that unit replaced that GE, which I got for free because it was apparently having control board issues. It didn't start giving me control board issues until last fall, but this year it seems to be doing just fine. It's actually not, I've not ran it yet today because it's just been kind of cooler out today, so I was able to just run the dehumidifiers in the unit upstairs. It's really quiet though. Got 609 watts, 610 watts. Medium speed. Should go up to high because no one cares about that. I love the sound of this thing on high speed. The motor has a nice loud hum to it. I don't know if that's like bad varnish or anything, but that sounds a lot like some of the units I grew up with, including my smaller Fedders AirTemp I had growing up. So I'll have to get that unit out. I'll have to start up a lot of units in the shed because they've not ran in several years. Yeah, the air is just blasting out of these vents. I wouldn't say it's frigid. I wouldn't be surprised if it was low on a charge. Starting to see a bit of frost build up. The coils are sweating. You can kind of see there while my coils are a bit dirty. And on high cool, we're pulling just over 650 watts. We're drawing 6.5 amps. So not as much as the 7 amps, but I have a feeling once it builds head pressure, it'll probably get a bit higher. It sounds like it built head pressure already. Okay, now the air coming out of here just starts to feel just absolutely frigid, unlike how it was before. Let's see if opening the air exchanger has a difference on the airflow. No, not really. That's more of a gimmick feature anyway. It's so small on this unit too. And at a power factor of 8.5, so it's somewhat good. It is all capacitive motors, and all capacitor motors in this unit. This thing looks very intimidating. This pretty much looks like an oversized dehumidifier. That's kind of what this unit looks like. Something I do remember from when this unit was installed is this thing, on a very humid day, pulls condensate out of the air. It pulls humidity out of the air very good in the form of condensate. This thing will fill a bucket, like a 5-gallon bucket like that, in apparently 6 hours from what I was told. Actually, in the past, I've emptied the bucket for this unit when it was in active service. So this thing really does remove the humidity out of the air. But it's, they upgraded to a, from 8,000 BTU to 12,000 BTU in hopes that that cools both the kitchen and the living room combined, instead of just relying on this unit to come in when it's a very hot day. So I paid 30 beans for this. Tried to get it for 20, but hey, it's better than nothing. If it doesn't work out for me, I might resell it, because I do know it is kind of hard to come by these casement style air conditioners, and you need them for certain applications. I don't have any applications as of right now that require casement units. One of my coworkers, he has a, his house has vertically challenged windows, horizontally challenged windows, so it's hard to fit a normal unit into there. I've tried in the past. He has a 6000 BTU LG, similar to one I'm going to be showing pretty soon in terms of fixing and rebuilding. And that unit, it's just a bear to get into the window. We have a custom cut piece of plywood to go in the top half of the window to help lock it off. And then there's one window that's just very skinny in the kitchen. And the kitchen kind of overlooks the living room. You can't put anything in the living room because that has crank-out windows. So it's kind of hard to keep that area cool because there is a bedroom nearby, and that's where the LG unit resides. And we use a box fan, or he uses a box fan to push the air from that nearby bedroom out into the living space and kitchen. And it gets pretty hard on a hot day because the airflow isn't very good, maybe just because it is a 6K unit. But this would probably fit in that one window in the kitchen/dining room area. Maybe I'll make a video of it once it's installed. There's also another unit in like it's a split level house, but there's another bedroom in like the upper floor, and that has one of those little 5K GE units made by Gree that has kind of the offset vent on it. I'm not really a big fan of those units. That unit's lasted, I think, about 6 years now, and it's working quite good. The LG's even older. I think that LG's from 2010. Definitely feels like it's working. Has a nice sound to it. I'd say that the air coming out of this can be colder. This doesn't feel like a R22 unit. It's not freezing up or anything. It seems to be copacetic. I don't know, because with the amount of heat that's coming out the back of here, I'd say it's good. I'll have to do a temp check on this. I'll have to do an update video on this where I check the temps. Maybe it's also, I am running it on high fan, so that could be. It is definitely quiet on the low speed setting. I'd say as of right now, it seems like the compressor has built head pressure. We'll see what our amperage is. 6.7, 680 to watts. It is still going up, so it's probably, yeah, now it's 685. I think 7.5 was the actual one. Yeah. 6.95. No, 6.93. Well, now it's going to be 6.95. I guess I'll turn the camera off, let it run for a bit, wait for it to build a bit more head pressure, and then we can get a checkup on it. It seems like it's doing just fine. Actually, I moved the unit back a little bit so you can see that AirTemp logo. Camera. I really like this. I liked seeing this unit as a kid. I thought that looked super cool. This one's a bit different than the one that the Jordan U has, because his has a random screw up there for some reason. And there goes the kilowatts. Let's see if I can get a spec reading. I mean, not spec, origin on this unit. See, I think I already looked in here for. Does it not say its origin? Made in Canada. This thing's Canadian. Oh, there's also a wire schematic here. It doesn't feel like it's getting colder. I definitely see, like, the coils look very dank. It does smell like smoker's house, of course. Why wouldn't it? It's just that 6.9, 69 watts. I mean, 695, or 693, whatever. It's gonna go to 5. It seems to be evening out by now. So it was like 7.5 is what the max allowance is on this unit. I'll pull the front grill. Man, I can't believe I'm already 20 minutes into this video. I removed the front of the grill, and I looked at the underside, and I was expecting it to be a bright white, but it all looks tan. Maybe that's just because it was in a smoker's house, but I wonder if the front of this unit was originally tan instead of a, like the color white. Get a better look at this data panel here. $7.5 is what it was the allowance. We got 2-layer thick coil. I thought it would be a bit bigger, much like the one that's on Jordan's unit. I believe it was a 4-layer thick unit. I'll tag him in this video so he can rewatch it and correct me about that, or just look at this video because I think he might be intrigued by this unit. Got some letter stripping in there. There's a lot of like tape residue, caulk residue that I have to remove off of this unit in order to get it to clean up. Fan blower's probably all the way down in here. All the way down there. And then there's just kind of like this little thing over here, where it's just like dead space, little aerodynamics catastrophe. You probably couldn't even hear anything I was saying because it was just wind noise. You get a sense for how powerful the fan is on low speed. The cord on this just kind of, there's no cord, like no place or no like out, like parts of the grill, like no cutouts anywhere on the grill here, or along the bottom, or along the side for the cord to come out. So it's just kind of wedged, like for like the side of the unit. Oh wait, this is where it's supposed to come out. It's supposed to come out right here, but instead they ran it through the grill. So I'm going to take a guess and say that this unit was probably taken apart at some point and cleaned, hence why the coils are so clean, but I don't think that would explain why the compressor is so darn quiet. Look at that, that coil's very shiny. Yeah, 708 the watts. Well, we'll cut the unit off. There's a really nice refrigerant sound to it. Seems like these Fedders units always have that. Well, thank you very much for watching, and keep the breeze.